look, how's my hair? Is it okay?
Looks good.
I have those long locks and then I cut them.
I know. I looked at your locks and I was like, I want to start. I think I started my locks.
Did you start them?
Yeah.
After that?
I think so.
Wow.
I was like asking you all these questions about your locks.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Obviously, I was more than happy. Like, you were my fave. And you taught me so much. Let's get going, because I got a lot of stuff to say about you. Everybody already know you because I talk about you all the time. Like, they're like, how'd you get Stacy to this? I'm like, it wasn't me, girl. It wasn't me. Let me put you on to this ABA. Okay. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is where you are, and welcome to another episode of my podcast, JusShae and Friends. And today we have JusShae and Friends and Stacy, because he not gonna be quiet. He said he in the podcast too. Today I have my friend Nashira with me.
Hello.
This is Stacy's former ABA therapist, and she was the very first one that I told you guys about, the great one that was going above and beyond for Stacy, advocating for us, teaching me everything, literally teaching me everything I know. And the stuff I'm telling y'all, I learned from her. And then I continued learning after that. I was super into research, this and that and everything. I was doing a lot because you opened my eyes to the stuff that was out there. And I want to share with you guys, and she wants to share with you guys too, because she's here. So, tell us about yourself.
Okay, well, I am Nashira Henderson. I am currently a behavior intervention specialist in the school system. So I coach teachers on how to deal with behaviors. I deal with crisis management. I deal with classroom management. I'm not doing one-to-one therapy anymore. But I do go into the classroom and essentially teach other people, like, lots of functions of behavior, why they're doing the things that they're doing, and understanding that all behavior is a form of communication. So just emphasizing that with the teachers, that everything that we're seeing is a form of communication, so we just have to figure out what they actually
It makes sense that you're doing that teaching now, because that's how we became friends. I'm like, because so many people that I talk to, I know they didn't mean it, but they seem irritated, because I'm a type of person, if I don't understand, I'm going to ask a million questions. And sometimes I be writing them down. Like, I'm going to ask her when she come. I was waiting. Like, and you know what I'm saying? Some people would get irritated with that. And I could tell, I could just tell. They would just, oh yeah, we have this pamphlet, and just kind of brush me off. But you actually broke it down. You took your time, and and I really appreciate you for that. So it makes sense that you're teaching now. The topic of today's podcast is going to be ABA, and basically, what is it? We're going to go over the basics. What is it? Nashir is going to explain how it can be beneficial to you if you have an autistic child or a child on the spectrum. And then we're going to go over the questions you guys asked me. I invited you guys to email me, shaeandstacy@gmail.com, with any of your questions, you need advice, anything. I invited you guys, y'all wrote to me, and then I also went live and asked questions, and I wrote them down. And they right here. And sure going to answer them.
Okay. So what is ABA? I want to say what ABA is to me, because it's so broad and other people might define it a little differently, but it's an evidence-based intervention. So we use ABA to change undesired behavior. So you're going to be taking data within ABA. You're going to figure out what the undesired behavior is, figure out what the function of the behavior is. So the functions are attention, tangible access, which means that they're going to get something. Sensory, which is something internal, when you guys watch Stacy with the straw, sensory. And then escape, trying to get out of something or trying to avoid a person or something like that. So those are the different functions of behavior. So when we're collecting data, we're trying to figure out what the function of the behavior is, how often it's happening, what time of day is happening, and then trying to figure out how we can change it off of that information.
So you were talking about undesired behaviors. So autistic adults, they don't like ABA. So this is the question I get. And y'all didn't email me. I know y'all didn't, but I know y'all wondering. Undesired behavior, is stimming an undesired behavior?
No.
Is rocking back and forth an undesired behavior?
No.
So
now I want to say that you want to put it in a functional situation though. So
elaborate.
you
I know you
wouldn't
don't
want to necessarily be loudly stimming in a library necessarily. But if that's a coping mechanism for you or a strategy you're using to calm down and you just happen to rock back and forth and you need that moment, please do it.
Nothing wrong with it.
It is perfectly fine. And then use those opportunities to advocate for yourself and enlighten somebody, teach somebody that this is what you're doing and this is how you're going to calm yourself down.
That's a good, because I know a lot of my friends are like, people stare at me when then you can go ahead and, hey, this is why I'm doing this. And they'll be like, they might not have known. Now you just taught them something.
People are going to stare anyway, though. People are rude. So let's just be honest. People are rude, so they're going to stare anyway. But
people really are rude. You know what? A little bit off topic. I was telling my friends in another vlog about how me and Stacy were at Big Lots. Big Lots is his plug. Like, he loves shopping there. So he was there, but you know how tight it is. And you know how, stocky Stacy is. Yeah. So he's doing really well. I sat down, he shopped, and then he came and got me. We went to the counter together, but you know that line to go get your stuff. That line was like this. So we got to the front of the line and he's like, oh snap, I forgot something. So he go back. But there are a lot of people behind us. So as he's walking, you can see everybody like moving to the side because they see him coming. Except for one lady at the end of the line. She was like this. And I was like, please don't be a problem. Please don't be a problem. Please don't. Because I'm not above, you know what I'm saying? What's wrong with you, lady? I'm not above doing that. But she decided to be problematic that day, and she stood in his way. And so Stacy pushed past her. He didn't push her.
Yeah.
He just grazed her slightly, trying to get past her. And then here she go. Ah!
Oh my gosh.
So I walked past as well. Excuse me, y'all. Excuse me. They was like, nah, you good. Handle it. You know what I'm saying? And I went back there and I said, now, why would you stand in his way? Why would you purposely stand in his way? And then, before I came to her, she was like, excuse you. So I was like, why would you purposely stand in his way? And then demand an excuse me. You saw everybody in front of you move to the side. And then you didn't. For what reason? Why create a problem?
I do understand that. I'm gonna go on both sides though.
You gonna be on the?
I can't stand in the middle. Because did Stacy have his talking with him?
Yes, he was holding.
Okay, where was his excuse me then?
He didn't say excuse me at all.
Why not?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
I know like Stacy will use these words too.
Yeah, he will.
Exactly. So in these situations, I know we have a question up here that's talking about like community settings.
Yes.
So this would have been probably the perfect opportunity to be like, hey, say excuse me.
Yes.
For him to say excuse me to the other people. I think that she was just going to give you a hard time in general. Because she's just giving that energy.
I do as well.
But
I see your point.
Naturally, a lot of us would move, but there are those people.
Yeah, there are. So in that moment, it would have been nice for him to have his tablet handy and excuse me, and actually use it. So I have to force him actually to take it into the store. His tablet, he doesn't want to. He tends to leave it in the car.
He doesn't want to deal with people like that.
He don't want to people, and I get it. Yeah. I don't be wanting the people either, but
see somebody in.
At some point, it clicked in my head as an adult. I need the people, so I'm just waiting for that to happen. Maybe he will eventually. First question we have here coming from one of our followers or subscribers. I apologize. I didn't write nobody's name down. You know who you are. Okay, my bad. All right. Their question is, my son is 8. Is it too late for him to go to ABA?
It's not too late to start ABA. The earlier, the better, because we like early intervention. But you can start ABA at 8 years old. You want to talk about the behaviors that you're seeing, and then like the behaviors that you want to change. And honestly, some adults use ABA. So you might use ABA to stop smoking. You might use, because you got to get the evidence on it.
I didn't know that. Wow.
You get evidence on, you get data on it, and then you can wean yourself off of smoking by just going like one cigarette lower and then seeing the different times of the day that somebody might be smoking the most. So then they're really paying attention to that. They use it at the gym. We use like some self-monitoring systems. So then you can check off like, hey, I want to change, let's say overeating, or I want to change eating this time. And then you're monitoring yourself and you're being like,
the undesired behavior.
Exactly. So they use it in the gym, might use it to stop smoking. So adults use it. So at 8 years old, your child can definitely still like sign up for ABA.
Because how old was Stacy when you met? I keep
16.
saying 14, but it wasn't 14. I don't know. That was so long ago.
I think it was COVID.
2019.
Then. Was he 15, about to be 16? I remember bringing some straws in. I was like, happy birthday.
Yeah. Imagine. She even buy him birthday gifts. Oh my God. Best one.
Happy birthday. He was like,
inventory.
Let me get the right.
Bro don't never say thank you until he makes sure it's right. He like counting his money. Bruh, you need to sit at this table. But so it's not too late, honey. It's not too late at all. So our second question, how can ABA help with doing community activities when you have other neurotypical kids? Or yes.
So this is a good opportunity to teach them social skills. So ABA helps teaching social skills as well. It's a good opportunity when all these kids are playing at the park to teach personal space. It's a good opportunity to teach your kid how to talk to somebody and ask if they can play one of the games that they're playing. Telling somebody that they don't want to play with them. It's a good opportunity for them to advocate for themselves and saying like, no, I know that there's some like younger kids where you might take a toy and they might throw a tantrum. So this is a good opportunity. You want to teach what you want to see first outside of the community. So you might want to teach it in like the comfort of your home, at a clinic, different things like that. So then when you go to the community, they already have those prerequisites. And then they go out into the community and now they functionally have to use it with other people because they'll use it with you, they'll get comfortable with you, and then it'll just become like mimic behavior.
Yes.
Instead of going out there and having to generalize it with all these other people.
Absolutely. That's something to definitely watch out for. Stacy's good for that. Just copy. Yeah. And then he's like, there, I did it.
Yeah. It's like you're going to answer the same question. Like, I know you're the person who's going to ask me this question. When we used to ask the phone number, like, hey, do you remember your mom's phone number? With me, it'll be like, go. Boom, boom, boom. I don't know how it was with anybody else asking that question.
The mom that asked that question, she actually was on my live stream and was able to tell me that she's like that one auntie that has all the kids. You know, she go get her babies, you know, her niece and nephew. She loved them. And even the one that's autistic, even though she's not really sure how to care for him, like she just, you know, care for him like the other kids, but she know he has special needs. So that's why she's asking questions. So kudos to you.
Yeah, I mean,
I love that.
Please keep doing that. Too.
Yes, please.
Please. Keep taking that baby around other kids so they can understand how to interact. Honestly, like keeping them sheltered does not help. So you need to take them out there. They need to be able to, and it's okay if they're just, it's called parallel playing. So they're inside of the environment and then they're playing off on their own, but they get to hear these different things that's going on. They get to see how other kids are interacting. And then naturally they'll just come in and start interacting on their own. So please keep creating these spaces where they can interact with other people.
I agree. Yeah, she's concerned that some of the things that neurotypical kids won't like doing, you know, the autistic kid doesn't. And then what he likes doing, then they don't. So they have to compromise eventually. And then, you know, somebody's not having fun. And then auntie is stressed out.
Okay.
So
maybe you just want to bring some things that you know the autistic kid wants to do. You bring those out into the environment and then they want to join in. They could join in. If not, it's okay to play by yourself because even as adults, neurotypical people, we don't like doing the same things. So it is okay to be an individual. It's okay to be different. It's okay to go play off by yourself and then see what thing you might want to look to see and see what things they're actually oriented to. So what things you might look at their eyes pointing to, and then they just might not know how to get into that activity. So then you would just help scoot them along to include them.
You might find their special interests. You might, once you get that special interest, honey, buy all of it. Okay, buy the store out, because that will keep them nice and calm. Yes.
So, does ABA help with ADHD interfaces with behaviors? I'm gonna say how I interpret it. Does ABA help with ADHD? Like, that's how I think about it. Okay. I don't know if this is the actual question or not. I would say yes, it does help with ADHD behaviors. The thing about that is you want to teach the desired behavior before they start exhibiting some of those ADHD behaviors. So like we talked about in the beginning, what's the function of these behaviors? And then another thing we talk about is like antecedents. So sometimes you recognize they do something right before they have that undesired behavior. Could be a tap of the leg, could be a word that they use. And then when you start paying attention to that antecedent, you'll know that it's about to happen. So then you can create a system to stop it before it happens. One of the things that we do in ABA is stop, think, do. So when I used to have a little kiddo that would move off of his impulses when he would appear to be upset. Somebody would do something, he would appear to be upset, and he's gonna go for you. And I remember a few times where I had to be like, stop, think about what you're about to do. Make the right choice. So stop, think, do is stopping what you're about to do, that. Thinking about the choice you're about to make, and doing the right thing. But you have to catch it before they do it, or it's not gonna translate. It's not gonna.
That's why you got to watch these behaviors, like you said. I was laughing because I heard that from another therapist along the line, because I was getting frustrated because I was trying to do the same thing with her that I did with you, like learn from her. I was getting frustrated because she don't just give me the answers. I got to figure it out. Lady, why I got to figure? Just tell me. Like all of a sudden, he doesn't want to do anything else. And then here she come and done. And I was like, how, lady? How did you? I've been trying to do this for years. And she was like, well, what were you thinking about when you were talking to him? I was like, thinking? She was like, stop thinking. I was like, okay. Because I was just reacting and I was just talking. So he would do something, so I would do something. Yes. Yeah, that's why I was laughing, because I was like, okay. She was one of those older black women. Like she ain't play, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's why I was laughing. But yes, I like that. That will never get out of y'all head now. This question is actually from one of my autistic friends. She does another episode of the podcast with me, like another version of it. Her name is Lex. And she said, what to look for, or what do you look for in a neurodivergent affirming therapist? Like, what are the things you should look for? When you're looking for a therapist. Yeah, so basically, if she were to have a child and she wants her child to go to ABA, she wants them to affirm them and not bring them down. Like, tell them it's okay to be autistic, which it is. Okay, it is.
Yeah. Okay. So, I actually asked some friends this question, like, what do you want to look for in any therapist in general? So let me see if I can pull it out.
Okay. Look, she ready, honey.
Let me see.
She ready.
What question is this one? So want to be adaptive in your teaching styles. So everybody is not going to learn the same way, and understanding that everybody's not going to learn the same way, and being able to change your teaching style to be able to cater to the needs of the client. So you want to make sure that they're paying attention to what their client needs and being able to change the way that they teach. Someone who can meet the client where they're at. So, someone that can meet the client where they're at means that all of autism is a spectrum, as we all know. So when you're coming in to do therapy, the first thing that as therapists we don't want to do is start doing therapy right in that moment. Like the first thing that we want to do is start building a rapport, figure out things that you like, see if we can join into the things that you like. If you don't want me to play with your straws, maybe I can play with the car in the corner next to you playing with your straws. And then we're starting to build a relationship. And maybe you might slap me. Maybe I'll be able to touch it because I can't.
Did you ever get the whole one?
I did. Yeah.
That's crazy. I can't hold the straws.
Yeah. So it was a quick touch and then take back. But that was big. That was big enough. So it's establishing that relationship. And then that's what it means when we say like me and your client where they're at, not having these super high expectations because the next person could do it. Understanding that everybody has a different learning style. Everybody's at a different level.
Right.
Someone who is patient. We got to understand within this field that these things are not things that behaviors that might happen in the moment, like sometimes it might be aggression or different tantrums. We can't take it personal. Like it's not something they might not be necessarily mad at you. It just might be mad at the situation, but you happen to be the person in the room that's going to catch it. So not taking these things personal and being able to be patient within that moment. If you don't have patience, this is not the field for you. We're just going to be honest right there.
Get out of here.
Get out the field if you are not a patient person. Okay?
I like that. That actually touched me a little bit. Because, sometimes Stacy, he's a young man. Sometimes he get his testosterone. He turns into the Incredible Hulk. But he would never harm anybody. But it's just mean sometimes. And it makes me cry. But that just touched me. Like, he's not being mean to me. He's just mad.
And you got to think about communication too. Sometimes even it's hard for us to communicate.
Yes.
So it's like if I can't even get my words out, and then Stacy is nonverbal, so then it's like he's trying to figure out a way to communicate with you. He can't get it out. That's gonna make anybody. It is. I remember I was talking to my BCBA, and I was talking about that was the male BCBA that you guys had, and I was asking like, hey, could we just like write different things down? So then Stacy, because he was doing really good at writing, so I was like, hey, could he write things down? And he was like, you're gonna have him speak in 3 different languages because he's gonna have the tablet, he's gonna have to write things down, he's gonna have whatever's going on in his head, which is the verbal as well. And then I was like, oh, so it clicked to me too, like okay, whatever one we can hone in on and see the best results is what we're gonna stick with. But that was my moment of advocate. Whatever he's doing the best at right now, let's see how far we can get right there.
Yes.
And when he told me that, I was like, okay, that'll be too much because that's a lot for us to try and learn a whole different language.
It is. Yes.
Someone who is open to learning. So in this field, it's an evolving field. ABA in the past is not like ABA today. And that's probably why a lot of adults don't like ABA because they remember the things that happened in the past.
Yes.
Also, we have to think about medicine. The things that went on in medicine back in the day was not good in order for us to get to the medicine we have today. So ABA is totally different, but ABA is still evolving and we're still learning different things. So just making sure that your therapist is willing to learn from you, willing to learn from other therapists, willing to do their own research as well. We talked about building rapport first. Somebody that's respectful of cultural differences.
What? Who said that? They smart. I like them.
Yeah, we gotta pay attention to the fact that all of us are different. All of us have different cultural backgrounds. And you're going to want to talk to the families. And, well, I guess I'm talking to the parent right now.
Yeah.
So you want to you might want to talk about some of your cultural things and then see if they're okay with it. If they're not okay with it, it is okay to advocate for yourself and say that this therapist is not going to fit you because every therapist is not going to be your cup of tea.
No, they're not.
And you are allowed to say, you want to say it to like the supervisor, like, hey, I don't think that this is going to be a great fit. And then come with the reasons of why you think it's not going to be a good fit. Because it's not like they're not going to go and get another client that they have a good fit with. It's okay. You should be fluid.
It is okay. And like I always tell y'all, y'all in charge. Y'all in charge, okay? If you don't like something, just tell them. They have to take it out. That's their job. And they work for essentially the family, essentially.
And then somebody who's going to advocate for you. So when you're telling them about your needs and the different things that you want to change, everything might not be changed because they might understand like the first foundational skills to get to the end result. But there's a lot of things that can be changed. And then when you're talking to your therapist, the therapist can translate things to the BCBA, because you might not see the BCBA all the time, but you're going to see your therapist all the time. So you just want to make sure that you have a good connection with them and you're able to communicate with them. And you're able to tell them the things that you feel like's working, the things that's not working, different strategies that you use at home, so they could use those same exact strategies when they're in the community, at the clinic, in schools.
I got some general questions. So number one, how should I deal with angry outbursts? Her son's in puberty.
Okay. So at this time, we want to validate those feelings. We want to let them know that the feelings that they're having is okay. At this point, we want to teach appropriate behaviors. We don't want to teach them. We don't want to keep reinforcing the outbursts. So
I see.
We don't want to keep necessarily paying attention to the outbursts. We want to pay attention to the good things. And then when they're not having an outburst, teach them how to appropriately communicate their feelings outside of the outburst. But if they're having an outburst, because we all get angry, having an outburst and letting them know, like, hey, I understand that you might need a moment, and being able to actually give them that moment.
Validation.
Validation is huge.
It really is. It really is. And somebody made fun of me once, or thought that I was making fun of Stacy, because he was off camera having a outburst, and I was like, "What's wrong? Are you mad?" And they were like, "Why are you making fun of him?" I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm checking in with him."
Asking questions like, "Hey, like, are you upset?"
Yeah, I'm not making fun of him. What's wrong? Are you mad? I always say that, because I'm telling him I understand. Like, I understand your emotion right now. And I'm not telling him you can't do that. I'm just telling him you can't break that. You know? It's not that you can't do that.
But you can be mad. Labeling those feelings so he can understand. Because we don't know if one day Stacy just going up and just have a whole catalog of just talking. I
hope you don't tell my business, because I'll be talking to Stacy.
You know, like, we never know.
Yeah, facts.
So he might come out and just be like, hey, like, I was mad. And you giving him those words. So we like asking him, like, hey, are you mad? Was actually teaching him to really advocate for himself. He might use that talker and be like, I'm mad.
I hope so. I hope so. He already telling us leave him alone.
Exactly.
And as he should. He know his boundaries. Second one, what to do about sibling rivalry? I want to hear this one too. They still fighting. Autistic son is trolling a sibling. The mom is apprehensive about discipline. So about this autistic son. So she tells the daughter that he didn't mean to do that.
Okay, so in this, I think you do a really good job at this.
Honestly. Oh, really? Thanks. Yes. I was nervous.
Yes, I think you do a really good job. But validating your daughter's feelings first and foremost, and just letting her know that what she's feeling is a valid thing. Asking her how she's feeling in that moment, and then asking maybe what things she wants you to do. So that's a way of showing that you care and you're listening to the things that she's had going on and these different feelings. We want to stop your autistic son from trolling her, and this is an undesired.
Come on, bro. Like, you know how teenage boys, all the boys, every age. Why y'all do that? Calm down.
But we can't just make it okay. We can't just say like, hey, like, you didn't mean to do it. Like, essentially, you're gonna be fine. He is gonna grow up and he is gonna be an adult, and he's
an adult troll.
Exactly, be trolling people, and they are not gonna take it the same exact way. Also, this is one of the relationships that we want to cater to. We want them to be close. So if they feel like you're always on your son's side, opposed to validating their feelings, like, that's gonna create a rivalry where we don't know if they're going to have that connection in the future. We don't know if they're going to communicate. And the autistic community already has a lot of people who do not understand them, not out there advocating for them. So you want another person in your corner. So this is an opportunity to teach appropriate skills. And they're siblings in general, so they're gonna go at it anyway. But just like not making everything okay, because like you still have to treat each child fairly, and fairly doesn't always mean like equal. Like they still need to have some consequences. It doesn't, when you think of discipline, it doesn't have to be like physical punishment or anything like that. Like just meaning that they're gonna have consequences to their actions, and that's okay. We all have consequences to our actions. If you want to keep trolling your sister, like, hey, you lose a couple minutes of screen time, and that doesn't mean screen time is completely go away. I just mean it's a minute less because you didn't follow this expectation of not like bothering your sister. Yeah, she deserves that peace as well.
And I know sister will appreciate that because I know how she feels. She said that son, sister had this cute little pumpkin. Son smashed pumpkin on purpose in her face.
Oh, smiled about it.
Why you do that? He probably did smile about it. Like, sure.
But I'm like, these are conversations you can sit down and have. You can have social stories, and you can sit down and say, like, how would you feel if your sister took one of your items? You can put it in their face, and you can add these stories, and you can use these as teaching moments. So, and then sister will see that, and she'll feel validated, like, hey, mom is actually trying, or mom or dad, I don't know who sent the question in, but the parents actually trying to understand me, and I don't know if they feel like it's their fault sometimes too when they're
but it's not. It's not. And like we said, they siblings, they're gonna fight anyway. So there's really, I mean, you just have to validate their feelings, like my friend was saying. And I'm not sure if some of you remember this case where Stacy used to steal out of Heaven's room. She had juice, soda, candy, snacks. She had all the good stuff up there. Okay. And he used to steal out of her room. Now, I couldn't prove it, nor could she, but I knew he was doing it. So she came to me, say he was stealing something. I said, how you feel if I let Heaven go up in your room and touch all your things? And he was like, no. I was like, oh, well, go ahead, Heaven. He didn't go in her room no more after that because now he see how he made his sister feel. Exactly. Like all he wanted was some juice, but now he like, it ain't worth it because now I'm touching her stuff.
Exactly.
And I don't want her to touch my things.
That's holding him accountable to his actions though. Like we say, all of these kids are gonna grow up one day and they're gonna be held accountable for their actions. So we want to teach right now that these things are appropriate and these things are inappropriate.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's why I say you do an amazing job.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Sometimes I wonder, girl, like why they still fighting?
Because it's a sibling
like what
thing.
In the world? Like, all the way into adulthood? I don't remember fighting with my siblings. Like, wait a minute.
I was about to say I still get into it with my siblings.
You're right. We doing okay. How do I teach adult family members? They are impatient and spoiling the son, etc., treating him like a baby. Every time she try to discipline him, they say leave him alone, etc.
So if there's
hard one,
this one is a hard one. Yeah, this one's a
hard one. I experienced it.
I think they do this with neurotypical kids as well, where they just say like leave that baby alone. And a lot of parents say, do you have kids? I think that's not the ABA approach.
It ain't.
That's why I throw that out there. But they'll look and they'll say like, hey, do you have kids? And would you let your kid do this?
Yeah, exactly.
Every day we're shaping behavior, and like we talked about, they have to have consequences to their action. And if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, I would just say lock them out and keep doing what you're doing.
Yes, just keep doing what you're doing. Don't listen to them. Don't listen. I experienced that, and I didn't know what to do at the time, so I was just like, all right, I don't want to fight. So, but Stacy got worse. He got worse. He started doing behaviors, started regressing, all that. So I was like, I'm not dealing with this. So I disciplined him once in front of one of the aunties, and she overstepped. So I was like, excuse me, I'm talking to my son. Now, do you want to keep him tonight, overnight? And she was like, I said, no. Do you want to keep him tonight? And she said, no. So I said, okay, so let me handle this because he's staying with me tonight. And I meant what I said. And I'm sorry, Auntie, but you overstepped. She was my elder. I really wasn't supposed to talk to her like that. But I'm sorry, Auntie, you overstepped. Yeah. Let me talk to my son because you're not going to keep him tonight. Yeah. So if you want to use that, go ahead. Because are you keeping them tonight?
No, that's a real thing.
It
like,
is.
Being able to stand up and say, like, hey, like, this is what I do for my child.
Yes.
And then them being able to respect that, because if you were interjecting with the way that they discipline their child, how are they going to feel about it?
Then it's a problem. It's cool when I do it.
It's a problem.
See, Stacy agreed. Exactly. He back there. Yeah. Thank you. You like this podcast? He liked this one. He didn't like the one with grandma. He was like, she was telling too much about his business when he was a baby and stuff. All right. So now is part of the podcast where I allow my friend to give one last piece of advice, one last little nugget. And then also, if you have any social media or anything you just want to tell them that's going on with you, you can go ahead and do that after.
My piece of advice is consistency is key. So when you get into the ABA world, just making sure you're being consistent with their therapies and your time. And in order for you to see the undesired behaviors change, you have to be consistent and showing up. And then realizing that, we kept saying this throughout, but the younger clients are going to grow up. Mm-hmm. So it's really important to think about the things that you're reinforcing now. Is it going to be appropriate when they're a 21-year-old adult? If not, then you're probably going to want to start looking to change those behaviors.
I like that. Yeah. Short and sweet, but it was packed. Yeah. Action packed. Yeah. Full stuff.
And I don't have any social medias yet to share because I was like, I don't know if I might start doing this and might start talking about like study sessions, and I'm on the way to trying to become a BCBA.
Excuse you?
Yeah.
What?
So
I don't know what that means.
It's a board certified behavior analyst. So
I thought so.
Yeah. The people that make the plans that I came in here and was able to follow.
Yeah, that is the important person. Yeah. That's the one that you ask for approval. Is this okay? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Does he? Oh, what? No.
So I want to be one of them. I'm on the way. I'm like in the early stages.
Well, I mean, Sharon might come back. Y'all don't know. We don't know. She might, though. Yeah. She might. So probably the time she come back, she'll have a social medias to share with y'all. Or not, okay? Yeah. Some people just don't like social media. But yes, thank you for coming. My last little bit of advice is, if you're thinking about ABA, just go ahead and look into it. There's no harm in it. Mm-hmm. And guess what? If you don't like anything, you can just stop. If you don't like it, you can just stop. You're in charge. Okay? I don't see no harm in just trying. Because a lot of people are like, I don't know. Well, just try if you don't know. And then if you try and you don't like it, then you know.
Yeah, that's true. Do your research.
Facts.
Do your research. It's not for everybody. That's okay.
And yes, and that's okay. And that's okay. And if you do think it's for your child and whoever you have is just not working out, there's nothing wrong with saying, I want to try someone else. Like JusShae said, they're not going to be offended. Mm-hmm. They're not. They know. They already know. They're not going to be offended. Yeah. They just going to change it for you.
That is true.
And that is it. And that is all. Okay?
I get really, really nervous.
Not you got to say, but you're so eloquent. And I just know people are going to receive from you. And like same thing with my mom, because I'm like, just your voice, your demeanor, everybody's like, oh, that's grandma. Mm-hmm. They're going to listen. And like, you now are a friend, like, but smart friend. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
Listen to friend. That's how you came to. That's why I received everything so bad. Because I'm that type of person that would be like, don't tell me what to do. But then you came in and I was just like, tell me what to do. Tell me. Oh. Yeah. But thank you everybody for watching. Once again, this was JusShae and Friends. Bye. See you next time.